everyone, I'm back today to talk about brows. I went ahead and finished one eyebrow and left one undone just so that you can get an idea of how much a well-shaped brow can really make a difference in your finished look. Obviously, that to me, it makes a big difference. I really like to compare your eyebrows to a frame on a picture. Hanging a picture on your wall without a frame, it can look beautiful, but if you put a really nice frame on it, it just looks finished and cleaned and neat and overall better. So that is how I kind of like to describe the necessity of doing your brows. It can take, a few extra minutes and add that onto your daily routine, but it really can make a big difference. And I also think that for a lot of people, doing that step can maybe cut down on the amount of eye makeup that you need to wear. A lot of times I just do my brows, my mascara, my blush, lip gloss, and I'm out the door. And it really just makes it look finished. But if I leave my brows undone, I just feel like it looks, I don't know, messy, I guess, is what I think. But of course, everybody's different. So anyway, this video was pretty highly requested, so I definitely wanted to do this and just show you guys my routine. Obviously, everybody's different. My eyebrows are extremely patchy and thin, so I have to fill mine in. But not everybody's going to have to do that. Some people can just have really thick eyebrows, so they can just use a brow gel and just get them waxed or plucked or threaded or whatever they do. And then in between that time, just tweeze them a little bit, keep the brow gel in them to keep the unruly hairs in place, and you're good to go. And for those people, I so envy you because the brow filling in is a chore. But for those of you that, need a little shape, have a little patchiness, if you get a routine and you get used to it, it's really not that bad. I mean, obviously, I wish I didn't have to do it, but once you get it done, it's not bad at all. So I'm going to show you first the tools that you need to do this. For me, what I use, I just use a pair of, these are, I don't know, I got these in like my Ipsy bag. But anyway, tweezers, good tweezers, whatever you like, just to maintain. And then the Brow Wiz by Anastasia, Beverly Hills, and I'm soft brown. And a good rule of thumb is to pick your brow color based off of your darkest hair color. So if you have highlights and you have, brown and blonde, do the brown, match the brown. If you have, for me, I have red, and I tried the like auburn, and I was like, ooh, no. It was like super red, and it just didn't work. So you want to kind of stick with your natural, unless you're platinum blonde and you're naturally black, then obviously you want to go with like a taupe shade. But you want to stick to like close to your natural color if you have highlights or multiple tones in your hair. Try and match like that natural color because that's what's going to work best with your skin as well. So for me, I'm soft brown, even though I have, red hair right now. The soft brown is what looks natural, and it still matches my hair enough, like in the family of the red tones. It still matches enough to where it looks natural. So that's a good rule of thumb for picking your color. But also what I use is a brow gel. This one is a NYX Tinted Brow Mascara. It doesn't have to be tinted. It can be clear. Sometimes I use a clear one. I just like the brush on this one. I actually do wipe off some of the product whenever I use it, and I'll show you how I do that. But I like the brush on this one. It's small. It's easy to get in and stay really in the brow line, because if you get out of the brow line when you're doing it, then it can make a mess. But anyway, so let's get started with how to shape your brows, how to decide how to shape your brows, and how to know. It's very simple. Basically, you just need like a pencil, an eyeliner, whatever, and what you're going to do is you're going to hold it up to find out like where your brow should start. You're going to take the pencil, you're going to hold it right at the edge of your nose, and then wherever that is, that's where your brow should start. And you can see that's where mine naturally starts, right there, right where my nail is. So that is where it should start. And then to figure out where your arch should be, you're going to take a pencil or an eyeliner, whatever, go to the corner of your nose right here, and you're going to basically draw a line from there through the center of your iris, like this. Wherever that lands, that is where your arch should be. Again, that's where mine naturally is, but some people do not naturally have an arch and they want to create one. That is how you would find out where you should make the peak, is right there, by laying the pencil like this. So it would go right here. And then to find out where your brow should end, and mine do not end where they should because they're so patchy that I don't have any more hair down there. So I have to do this sometimes just to kind of remind myself, where should it end? You take it and you go right to the corner of your eye and then make that line, and right where the pencil lands, right here, let me show you, right there is where your brow should end. So as you can see, my natural hairs end way before that, and so I have to kind of draw that in a little bit. So that is the easiest way to determine what your brow should be shaped like. So that's, fairly simple. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I actually do my brows and how I draw them in. I'm going to get a little bit closer so you can see me. Excuse me, sorry. Okay. And I'm going to look in another mirror so that you can really see what I'm doing while I do it. But what I do first, this brow pencil that I'm using comes with a very small spoolie on one side. Excuse all the makeup on my hands. And then it's a very, very, very thin pencil, sorry. And I really like that because it's so thin, I can really get in there and just, make it look like hairs and be very, defined and precise. So what I do first is I start at the bottom. It's hard to talk and do this. I start at the bottom of my eyebrow, and you want to go inside the hairline, and you're going to go straight up, follow your hairline, and I go straight up to where basically the arch should be and make a line. Can you see how I created that line? And then you go to the top and do the same thing, but you don't want to go all the way in because they're up here, like in the very top, you want it to be, or the very front, you want that to be very, very, very light. So I start in just a few hairs and do the same thing, draw a line, and you're going to match it to the end of where you just stopped. So as you can see, I made like an outline of what I'm going to be filling in. That way, oh, I just totally messed up my eyelash. This little spoolie comes in handy. All right, so you're making an outline of what you're going to fill in, and then I'm going to come to the same place where I stopped at the arch, and I'm going to pull this down on the top to make my tail. And the key is to be very, very light-handed. You do not want to come in here and start coloring in like you're, coloring a coloring book. You want to stay very light-handed, and you want to do small strokes like this. I apologize if you can hear my husband outside weed eating. I told him I was filming, but he just wanted to continue to do it right outside the window. So I apologize if you can hear that. Okay, so now we have our basic outline of what we want our brow to be shaped like. And as you can see, they're pretty similar. For some reason, whenever I'm on camera, my eyebrows look crooked, but if I look in the mirror, they look not crooked. I'm not sure what that's about. But anyway, okay, so now you're going to start the filling in process. So you're going to come back here. And again, don't go all the way to the front. Come like right here. And you're going to go a little more heavy-handed because this is where you want the darkest part of your brow to be, is in this center part right here. And don't worry because you're going to go back and you're going to brush this out. So you can get pretty heavy-handed right here just to like make sure you're getting it filled in. And then we're going to go back and brush it out to make it look more natural. But you only want to do that in this area right here. And then when you get here, you can get back to not, medium pressure, and then start to lighten your hand again. And as you can see, I'm doing small strokes because if you just paint it on or draw it on, it's going to look like you drew it on. You want to do small strokes to make it look like hairs. Okay. And now to do this area, which I think is kind of like the trickiest part because you don't want it to look too much like a box. What I do is I go, and you always want to go in the directions of the hair. So in this one, you're going this way because that's the direction of the hair. And then when you get up here, I go straight up and down. Let me see. Straight up and down because that's how those hairs grow. And I do this very light-handed. Okay. Okay. Oh, so as you can see, it's filled in. This one looks darker because we haven't brushed it out yet, and that's what we're going to do next. So that's where the spoolie comes in handy. So you're going to come in and you want to brush in the direction that the hair grows, just like you wanted to fill in the direction that the hair grows. So you're going to come in, and I try and stay right inside, you know, the brow, because if not, you'll brush that color and make like marks, which you can clean that up and I'll show you how. But, you know, just to save time, I like to try and keep it as clean and neat as possible. So as you can see, as we brush this out, it starts to look more and more like natural hairs. My husband is really driving me crazy with, I think he has the chainsaw out now. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. Oh. So I don't know if you can see it, but like right there, I got out a line. So I'm going to show you how to, and it was from brushing. I kind of brushed some color out. Okay, right here, you're going to go straight up and down, just like we did when we were coloring it in. We're going to brush it straight up and down to keep it looking like natural hairs and keep the hairs going in the right direction. Okay. I hope you can see this. I really need to get a new camera because the closer I get, it gets like kind of grainy. But I think, you know, I think it's at least serving its purpose of showing you how to do this. So now I'm just going to continue to brush a little bit as I see like where it could be a little lighter. And this is something that, again, you will get better at like as you practice, just like anything else. The more you practice it, the better you'll get. And I go back and forth between, okay, color, I brush that, maybe I brush that out too much. Maybe I need to brush this area out more. Back, you know, I kind of go back and forth. And then once I am happy with it, I will clean it up. So that's it. I'm happy with the shape. I'm going to clean it up, and then I'm going to show you how to put brow gel. Actually, is that because of hair? Or nope, I've got a little way too light spot right there. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you clean it up, and then I'm going to show you how to do the brow gel. So to clean it up, you're just going to need, let me grab my concealer brush. Here it is. And I get one of my thicker concealers because it's a little easier to control. And I like the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer for this. This is kind of like if I have an acne spot, I use this, or to clean things up. If I do liquid lipstick and I need to clean up around the edges, I use this, but I use very, 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 very little. And I will show you how I keep it from looking like I drew a line around my eyebrow. So I'm just going to put this on a concealer brush. You can use one much smaller than this. And also, another one that is really easy and makes this process really easy is like a flat bristle brush, because it doesn't move as much. So you can get really precise. But I use this one a lot and I'm just used to it, so I'm going to use it. But as I said earlier, right here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I had a spot where I messed up. So I just took this, and you can see I just filled my brush with it, but it's so little. Like I have such a little amount of product, and then I even wiped it off. And you just want to come in and you're going to just, you know, go over where you messed up. You can go under it, wherever you feel you need to clean it up a little bit. That's it. And then if you do too much concealer and it looks too like you have a line around your eyebrow, you can take your Beauty Blender sponge, or for me, I use a Real Technique sponge, and you're just going to dab like this, and it'll pick up any excess and blend it so that it doesn't look like you have drawn a white line with concealer around your brow. So that's just a little trick. I didn't really have that problem today, but sometimes I do, and so I just wanted to show you. And then any touch-ups, last-minute touch-ups, because once you set it with the brow gel, it's kind of hard to go back and, you know, fix anything. So, all right, last, you just get your brow gel. Again, I'm using the NYX, and I just get a towel of any kind. And what I do, and I'll try and show you this on film. You see that? Okay, so I just take it and I go straight down because for some reason, a lot of product gets deposited on the tip of this. And sometimes if I don't do that, then I get like a big brown glob right in the middle of my eyebrow. And then it's a disaster. So anyway, that's just a little tip. If it kind of like how mascara, you get a big clump on the end, just dab it off. And then you're just going to do exactly what we did with the spoolie, but be very careful because this has tint on it, or you can use a clear and then you really don't have to worry about it, which I would suggest for people who are new at this. So you're just going to come in and go in the direction of the eyebrow hairs. That is very important, especially on this step because you're setting them in place. So you want to make sure you're brushing them in the same direction that you want them to be, like where you want them to stay, which would be the direction that they grow in. And then straight up and down on the front. And sometimes I do this step and sometimes I don't. Like tonight, you know, we're going out. It's Valentine's Day, so we're going out to dinner, things like that. And it's fairly early, so I want to go ahead and set them in place so that they stay all night. Sometimes, like I said, I skip this step. But if you have unruly eyebrows, then this would be a great step for you. So this is what I was talking about if you have, upside down, if you just have very thick brows and you do not, you know, thick, dark brows, you do not need to fill them in with color, but you just want them to stay in place and kind of look, you know, finished and shaped, get a brow gel, get a brow mousse. They have them in every color. They have them clear. If you don't need any color at all deposited in, just get the clear. It's too easy. You brush it in. Done. It's the easiest thing on the planet, but it will make a difference. You will be really surprised at how much it makes a difference because it keeps them, it's literally like hair gel for your brows. It just keeps them in place and makes them look neat and crisp and finished. So the other thing I want to mention is something new. Where's mine at? Here it is. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is called the Brow Definer. And the difference between this and the one that I use today is it's much thicker and it's an angle, as you can see. So, and then it has a thicker spoolie on the end. So the cool thing about this is that it makes filling in your brows like go much quicker, but because it's thick, it goes on thicker and it's a little bit of a learning curve to use it. It is a little bit more difficult for me, but I have very thin patchy brows as you saw. So if you have really thick brows and you just need a little bit of like fill in, like you just have thick brows, but you have, you know, a little bit of patchy areas and you just want to fill them in real quick, this would be amazing for you. I think it would make your job very easy and I think you'd really like it. So it's just another suggestion. The other option that people can use, especially when you're when you're starting off is, okay, that's not a good one. That angle brush was yucky. An angle brush, and you can use a powder. I even used to use an eyeshadow. Just find an eyeshadow that's the color that you want. Put your concealer on your eyebrows first, like in your foundation, and it'll help the powder stick, and just fill it in. I like that because it has, you know, an angle you can get right on there and just go like this and then color it in. So there's a lot of different brow products out there. So just try, you know, try different things, see what works for you. And I also want to mention, because the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer or Brow Wiz, I'm sorry, can be a little bit pricey. So if you're not sure if you're going to be able to do this or if you're going to like it, there is a new one out by, hold on, let me find it, by Loreal. And this is a new one, but I have one open that I've used and it's a little creamy and a little bit warm for me. And it only comes in like 3 colors. This is brunette and it's a little bit warm. It's not quite as ashy as this color. So I wasn't thrilled with the color and it was a little bit creamier. So it did make it a little harder to like brush out. But for all intents and purposes, like this did work really well and would be a great cheaper option, drugstore option, or dupe for this. So, all right. Yeah, that's a good one. Try it if you're like just wanting to practice and see if you are going to want to do this. And if you're going to like the pencil or if you're going to like the powder or whatever, just try some drugstore options. So, all right. I feel like that was a long video and that I talked a lot, and I'm sorry. I feel like I talked really fast, but it still ended up being 20 minutes, and I'm not sure how because my first one was 7 minutes. So, sorry about that. But anyway, I feel like this one was much more informative and really, you know, you were able to see what I was doing. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you were able to learn something from this video. And yeah, so give me a thumbs up and a like if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, please let me know. Comment down below for videos you'd like to see in the future. And yeah, subscribe. And that's it. I hope you guys have a beautiful day and happy Valentine's Day. Bye.